Ginevra de Benci, the daughter of a wealthy Florentine banker, is immortalized in this portrait, the only painting by Leonardo da Vinci in the Americas, created by the master when he was young. Leonardo's early mastery with oil paint. This portrait is one of Leonardo's earliest experiments with oil paint. The slight wrinkling of the surface reveals his learning process with this new medium. Despite this, Leonardo's careful observation of nature and the subtle three-dimensionality of Ginevra's face demonstrate the new naturalism that he brought to Renaissance painting. The technique of smoky shadows. Ginevra's face is modeled with gradually deepening veils of smoky shadow, rather than sharp lines or abrupt transitions of color or light. This technique creates a lifelike presence that was revolutionary at the time. Innovation in composition. Leonardo innovated by placing Ginevra in an open setting, a departure from the typical portrayal of women within the sheltered walls of their family homes. The three-quarter pose, displaying her steady reserve, is among the first in Italian portraiture for either sex. The missing hands. The painting we see today is only part of the original portrait. At some point, the panel was cut down along the bottom, removing Ginevra's hands. A surviving drawing by Leonardo suggests that he painted Ginevra's hands lightly cradled at her waist, holding a small sprig, perhaps a pink, a flower commonly used in Renaissance portraits to symbolize devotion or virtue. Symbols of virtue. Ginevra's face is framed by the spiky, evergreen leaves of a juniper bush, which have turned brown with age. Juniper, or ginepro in Italian, refers to her chastity, the greatest virtue of a Renaissance woman, and puns her name. The context of commission. The vast majority of female portraits were commissioned on one of two occasions: betrothal or marriage. Wedding portraits tend to be made in pairs with the woman on the right side. Since Ginevra faces right, this portrait likely commemorated her engagement. Surprisingly, her lack of obvious finery, such as jewels and luxurious brocades, is notable, as these were part of dowry exchanges and displayed a family's wealth. Leonardo's fingerprints. Leonardo used his hands to blend parts of the painting, such as where the sky meets the juniper bush above Ginevra's shoulder. This allowed him to create soft transitions that show the world as he saw it. He believed that our eye perceives objects in the distance in a blue haze. The naturalism of oil paint. The versatile material, which had recently spread from northern to southern Europe, dried slowly and could be applied in thin layers. This allowed Leonardo to realistically capture the shadows on Ginevra's face and the haze of the distant landscape. Naturalism and innovation. Leonardo applied the same naturalism to Ginevra herself. Rather than outlining her features, he painted how light reflects off her skin. Notice the deep shadow under her chin. Ginevra's shoulder and torso turned to the side in a three-quarter pose, a significant departure from the traditional profile view. This is one of the first Italian portraits of a woman to show its subject facing in our direction. The legacy of a poet. Ginevra de Benci was renowned not just for her looks, but also for her intelligence and poetic talent. Her family's affluence afforded her a good education, and she was admired as both a poet and a skilled conversationalist. Although much of her poetry has been lost, one captivating line endures: "I ask your forgiveness, and I am a mountain tiger." The mystery of the commission. Leonardo may have painted Ginevra's portrait on the occasion of her engagement to Luigi Niccolini in 1474. However, details on the reverse suggest another reason. The back of the panel features a sprig of juniper, a pun on Ginevra's name, and a scroll with the Latin inscription, "Beauty adorns virtue." The wreath of laurel and palm framing the juniper were symbols of intellectual and moral virtue, and the personal emblem of Bernardo Bembo, the Venetian ambassador to Florence and one of Ginevra's admirers. Scientific analysis revealed that the scroll originally read "Virtue and Honor," Bembo's personal motto. These clues suggest that Bembo may have commissioned the portrait. The journey to Washington. The painting's provenance traces back to Prince Johann Adam Andres I of Liechtenstein, who bought it by 1712. A detail of the back of Ginevra de Benci shows the Liechtenstein Red Seal. After World War II, the family sold some of their art collection to rebuild their financial stability. Prince Franz Joseph II sold the painting to the National Gallery of Art. Mario Modestini, then the National Gallery's painting conservator, faced the challenge of transporting the priceless work of art from Liechtenstein to Washington, D.C. Modestini used a grey, waterproof American Tourister suitcase with a styrofoam interior and a temperature and humidity gauge to protect the painting during transit. Modestini reserved a first-class seat for the painting on Swissair Flight 100 from Zurich to New York under the name Mrs. Modestini. The painting arrived safely and was met by FBI agents in New York before being flown to DC. Public reception and legacy. The acquisition of Ginevra de Benci made headlines on February 20th, 1967. When it went on view on March 17th, nearly 1,000 people admired the painting within the first hour. Today, Ginevra de Benci continues to captivate visitors from around the world with its blend of beauty, innovation, and historical significance.